Thinking about moving to Katy, Texas, or just want to know what it's like there? You are in luck. This episode, we've got Don Kraft to my side here. Say what's up, Don.
What's up? What's up, beautiful people?
Realtor right there in Katy, Texas, in the greater Houston area. This is Wanna Move There, the show dedicated to all humans, giving them the information they need to decide whether they want to move from their area to another area, or maybe vacation there, or maybe get a second home there. I am DerekBicksler, your host, realtor of 15 years. I grew up on the Hill, as we call it, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Went to Mechanicsburg High School in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Go Wildcats! And went up to Penn College in Williamsport. You guessed it, Pennsylvania. So I am born and raised here. Had a few sales jobs before I started selling real estate 15 glorious years ago. Call me, text me, email me, throw a rock through my window, send a carrier pigeon, whatever you need to do. I want to hear from you. We still need inventory fairly badly here in, December 7th in 2021. And we'll talk to Don about what it's like in his market in a second. A reminder that whether you are watching live or on a replay, please ask a question in the comments. If we don't see it while we're going, we will come back and address it later. And if you know one of us, please say hi and say where you are watching from. And a reminder that all the replays are on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. So all the audio places, all the video places, anywhere you want to get your content, it'll be there and living there after the live is over. And now, without further ado, I will bring in Don Kraft, realtor right there in Katy, Texas. And I'm going to read your bio, but while I pull it up, say hello to everybody again and tell us the last movie that you watched.
Oh, wow. What's up, everybody? I'm Don Kraft. Your realtor here in Katy, Texas. Man, the last movie I watched, I'm gonna be honest. I think it may have been Minions. I took my daughter to to the movies to see Minions. Man, I don't know. I think that's the last movie I actually went to a movie theater to watch. So that's the one I'm rolling with.
You mean like the original Minions, or like
Man,
2 or 3, or there's a couple of them now, I think, right?
Yes, Derek, there's a couple of them. No, we're talking the original because I was going to go with Lake Placid, and you know how old that movie is.
So you found something a little newer. Yeah, I don't go very often either.
Right.
You should check out a 3D movie sometime. It's crazy.
I heard 3D is the way to go, man. I heard, and now the floor moves and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to have to check that out.
Oh snap! We don't have one of those here. We got the lounge chairs. Finally, they got the lounge chairs that like are big and you can put the armrest up and stuff. I go see every time a new Star Wars comes out. I treat myself to like a matinee noon like IMAX show 3D by myself and get all the candy, and pretzels and stuff like I'm a child or something. It's kind of fun. But if it's not 3D, it's not worth going to the theater. So I'm with you on that. I don't hit up the theater too often. So you grew up in Houston, Texas, so right there by Katy. And we'll talk about the location in relation to Katy. You went to Lamar High School there. You went to college at Kansas University for sociology. Your favorite color is... I can let the audience guess. They're going to know what it is by now, and I told Don what it is. What is it, Don?
My favorite color is blue.
Of course. Any certain blue or just any blue?
Man, it's just Dallas Cowboy blue, believe it or not.
All right, so like a navy kind of blue kind of.
Yeah, that is a color. Go Cowboy. Yeah.
And it's kind of close to the Penn State or the Penn State blue, so we'll like you here in Pennsylvania. That's all right. And then favorite food is Alfredo. So Alfredo is usually a sauce, right? Is there anything particular you like it on? Typical like fettuccine with chicken and broccoli, or what?
That's it. There you look. Is in my house? I appreciate it. That's it. On noodles with some chicken, and some broccoli, and we're good to go. We're good to go.
Yeah, I think that was the first meal I started making for myself when I was like a teenager. You know, that period where you start like making your own sandwiches or whatever. Maybe other people didn't, but I started like I wanted to cook for myself. And I've always made it. And anytime my parents would like ask me, like, you want to make dinner for the family? I would make Alfredo sauce with chicken and broccoli. So I'm all about that. And I haven't had it for a while. So it's easy to make too. You make the Alfredo or what?
Well, believe it or not, my wife makes her Alfredo sauce from scratch. So that's probably why I love that Alfredo sauce. So I particularly don't make it, but she does, and it's amazing. So it's on request a lot.
Yeah, and you got to put some in a jar. So if you have a hankering and you got to have some, you just toast up some bread and just dip that bread right in it.
Just dip it, Derek. Just dip it, man. Kind of like those those rolls you get from Olive Garden. Like get that and just dip it in some Alfredo sauce. I don't know if y'all have an Olive Garden in Pennsylvania. I don't know how that works, but hopefully you do.
Oh yeah, the soup and salad special at lunch used to be my jam. It was like $7 for all you could eat. It was the cheapest thing you could possibly get.
Right.
And then you do have pets. You have 4 kids. Good for you. I've got 3, and I know how hard that is. So good for you with the 4. And I know you're an awesome dad, and you're married to Christina, who you mentioned, who is an awesome mom, I'm guessing as well. She's married to you, and your hobbies are watching football. You mentioned the Cowboys. Has it always been the Cowboys?
It's always been the Cowboys. Ever since I was brought up, that's all I ever knew was being a Cowboys fan. My daughter is named Dallas for Pete's sake, so it was Cowboy Nation over here. We grow up Cowboy fans. But my son, as kids grow up and, they have their own identity, of course. I think my son is the only one that he's a Cowboys fan, and I love like the Rockets as well. But he loves Golden State, man. I can't swing him to be a hometowner, but he loves Golden State.
I feel like the Cowboys, are they like arch rivals with the Eagles or something? I feel like whenever the Cowboys come up to Pennsylvania, it's a big game that everybody wants to go see.
Yes,
I actually saw it. The only football game I've ever been to was in high school, was a Cowboys game. I think Emmitt Smith was still playing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big sports fan, but I somehow ended up there. It was a pretty cool experience, but yeah.
Right. So it seems like you went to a football game about the same time I went to the movies. So, but Philly is definitely a rival. They're definitely a rival for sure. Same division.
All right. So that's why I think some people here just like to like the Cowboys just to be able to have arguments with people about who's better, the Cowboys. Because it seems like there are a lot of Cowboy fans here also, other than like it's either Philly, Pittsburgh, I guess, or Dallas. I guess Baltimore is close too.
Right.
But yeah, all right. And then, all right, so let's talk about Katy. And I'm going to bring up my map here. I got to share it first just to show everybody where Katy, Texas is. And I'll zoom out because I don't know jack about geography either, admittedly, like most Americans or maybe most people in the world. If you don't live somewhere, you probably don't know or pay attention to it a whole lot. So obviously I knew it was in Texas, but you can see our globe here and you can see the pin here, and it's right next to Houston, and it's right there close to the Gulf of Mexico. And then I will read, it's 57 degrees there right now, right here in Harrisburg. We're 20 degrees-ish below that, so a little bit nicer, warmer weather. Maybe not quite 20, maybe today. Yesterday it was almost the same here, but that would have been abnormally warm for here this time. Looks like it's a little bit cloudy there, which we're used to here, and I'm guessing it's not as cloudy there as much as it is here. And I'm going to read the little Google blurb here. Katy is a city just west of Houston in Texas. The Katy Heritage Society Railroad Museum has train-related exhibits in a restored depot with an old caboose railroad car outside. The Katy Heritage Museum features vintage farming equipment and antiques. Leafy Mary Jo Peckman Park, that's a mouthful. Is that her name? Leafy Mary Jo Peckman Park is dominated by a fish-filled lake. Katy Park holds baseball fields and spacious picnic areas. Do people go fishing at this lake a lot?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's definitely an attraction.
And then how far outside of Houston, like if you were driving from downtown Houston out to Katy, how far are we looking at here to give people an idea?
Give or take about 20 to 25 minutes.
Okay.
So it's
not too bad. Yeah. And then what's the landscape like out there? Obviously, you're close to water. Is everything flat around the Houston and surrounding area? Do you have mountains and hills? Tell us a little bit about what it's like.
Well, we don't get to experience mountains or hills, so it is definitely flat. But one thing you do get to experience in Katy is a bunch of trees, right? So we definitely have trees because we wanted to have that nature feel here in Katy. So there's a lot of trees. There's a couple of hills you can roll down, but not real hills, man-made hills that I'm talking. And so we definitely have a lot of trails, a lot of biking and things like that. So we definitely want Katy to have that nature feel. So for that fact, we have plenty of trees, but it is flat. on the landscaping, on the landscaping thing. We don't get to experience mountains and hills, the good stuff. I love that. Like driving, I love that, but it is flat here for sure.
And then what kind of trees are they? Are they, because you're obviously in a warmer climate and you are as south as Florida about, right? So
Right.
is it like a tropical? Do you have palm trees and coconuts falling from the sky? Or are they like oak trees and pine trees like we have up here?
Look, there are oak trees, pine trees, and palm trees. You know what I mean? The top things we do. But, Katy isn't known for having palm trees. Nowhere in Texas is really known for having palm trees. We definitely have those things delivered and put in and make it and give it that Florida feel and all of that good stuff. But for sure, it's just oak trees and palm trees.
And what's the ground like? Is it like a sandy ground or like a dense soil like up here? Or what's the ground like?
Right. It's definitely a dense soil. It's a bunch of concrete. A bunch of country living, I mean, it's not country. Let me not say that, but
We like country living here. So
yeah, I just imagine that people, when they hear the word Texas, the first thing they think about is like we're all riding around in horses and all that good stuff. But it's not like that. Right.
What's that? The dust, the little thing
Yeah,
blowing in the wind
tumbleweed.
across the desert. Yeah, the tumbleweed.
Yeah,
Totally.
tumbleweed.
So do you have grass? Like in Florida, they have grass, but it's got to be watered all the time, and it seems like it's a different, like real thick, hardy grass that can grow in anything. Do you guys have grass there?
Oh yeah, we have
Normal
grass
lawns and stuff?
everywhere. Yeah, we have grass everywhere out here. You know what I mean? So it definitely gives off that country feel for the grass, but it's not dry grass like Florida, like you mentioned, and so it gives a country feel and it's nice soft grass that we do have to keep watered though. You know what I mean?
So it doesn't rain a whole ton, or what's the weather like?
Well, it rains. I mean, to me, right, and I'm kind of biased, but to me, Katy is the perfect place to be, right? Because we do get rain, we experience the cold, but it doesn't happen too much. Like if you don't like the rain, it's gonna rain just enough to keep your grass green. It's gonna get cold just enough that you like, man, it's too cold. But most of our weather is in the 80s for sure. It gets hot here though. It gets hot here in Texas, but the weather for me is perfect, man. But we do experience, of course, hurricanes every now and then. But other than that, the weather here stays gorgeous. I would say.
So what's cold? What's cold enough to complain about down there?
57.
Right now.
right now. So it doesn't get so we don't experience the 20s here. It's definitely about 57. Once you start getting in the 57, I think last week it got to 50. And so since we are in Texas and we don't get to experience the weather in much cooler climates, anytime it drops about 50, you see everybody bringing out their boots and their bubble jackets like it's like it's snowing outside, right?
Do you get any snow, sleet, any of that ever?
Fortunate, I'm gonna say fortunate because I don't want to say I like the snow because it snows for real in Kansas, right? But we did get snow last year and actually the year before. So ironically, I don't know, for whatever reasons, it has snowed sometime during the year for the past 2 years.
Yeah, there was some like big freezing this past year in the South where people weren't ready for it because you're not ready for it. We got salt trucks at the ready to go. We don't shut down schools, although they do shut down schools willy-nilly now because they just do Zoom at home. So they cancel it at the drop of the hat and we don't even have to make up the day, which I'm going to boycott that. I think we might go sledding instead of going to Zoom class because that's garbage. We need to make some ice creams. Some snow ice cream like back in the day, go sledding, have a whole day without school would be fun. So it's no snow. You mentioned hurricanes. So how bad are the hurricanes? Is it a lot? Do you need to watch out for it? Do you have shutters that close on your houses? Is it that bad?
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's just, typically towards the summer months when it starts to heat up, of course, we have hurricane season, and that's about 3 months, but that's the state of Texas. And since we're so close to the Gulf, anytime it's hurricane season, which is from about June to September, I want to say the end of August or something like that, then we're always ahead of what's forming and and that brings storms and all of that good stuff. But it's only a certain part of the year where the hurricanes can come. We did get hit by a couple of them over the past couple of years, but it wasn't too bad. Some places and states got it a lot worse than we did here in the Texas area. Like, and I speak on it like this because here in Katy, like, although Houston may get hit pretty bad with hurricanes, we in Katy have been so fortunate because it has flooded, but it's just the streets. It hasn't come up to your house. It hasn't come up to to your driveway or anything. And we've had some spots that are right up the street that, got anywhere from 3 to 4 feet in your house when it's a bad hurricane. So we've been fortunate here in Katy to have the hurricanes, but not really experience it. And we don't have shutters because, it's just second nature here to us. We don't get them that badly like other states.
But it sounds like you do get some flooding when the hurricanes do. It's more of the flooding damage than like wind or 2x4s flying through your window or something. Do you have basements there, or everything on slab, or what?
Yeah, everything is on slab. We don't have basements here. So when I say flooding, yeah, it does flood, but those are the things that we worry about. We don't have basements, and so it's a season every year that we try to prepare for. We always try to stock up during hurricane season to getting toiletries and food just in case the power is out. Generators are like second nature here. Typically you want to keep a generator because the power does go out. You have one connected to your house, but not enough to get shutters, and we just really have to worry about the flooding. But some places do get it bad that way.
So a little bit of hurricanes, but no volcanoes or earthquakes or crazy hail. I'm sure you get some hail here and there too, but nothing crazy going on. Right. So it sounds like it's pretty good as far as weather goes, and it's pretty warm all the time. So let's talk about the commute and what it's like to commute around there. Do most people that live in Katy, do they work in Houston, or are there like office centers and business centers in Katy? Give us a little bit of idea on the commute, work and live situation.
Yeah, for sure. So here in Katy, I think because Katy is more, I don't want to say up and coming, but it's still up and coming. I feel like every day or every month there's something new being built. So right now the commute, a lot of the people are still commuting to Houston. What I think, and this is just, some of the things that we deal with here in Katy, is I feel like everybody in Katy works from home. Because it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. Anytime that you go out in the streets or whatever, there's going to be plenty of cars. Like, everybody is a regular Saturday. You know how you get the feel whenever the weekend arrives that you're like, oh, there's a lot of cars out here today or whatever. People are off today, right? It feels like that every day here. But the commute is okay. The streets are wide, so we have plenty of lanes. So it's not really traffic jams or things of that nature. It's just a bunch of commuting on a daily basis out here, though.
Do you have toll roads in Texas?
Yes, we do have toll roads. We do have which is a 99 toll road that kind of runs north to south. We also have a West Park toll road that runs east to west. And so that's the beautiful thing about Katy. Like, no matter where you are, you're going to have access to a major highway. Everywhere takes about 15 minutes to get to, no matter where you go. And that's just the way that that's just the way it's been developed here. You're going to have access to 99, which is a major toll road. You're going to have access to West Park, which is a major toll road. And our major freeway that runs from Katy to Houston is called I-10 East. And you have access points wherever you are in Katy. So it makes the commute easy to anywhere that you want to go. And that's the beautiful thing about it.
And what about public transportation? Are there trains, buses, subways, all that kind of stuff to get into the city and other places, I guess, too?
Right. And see, here in Katy, Texas, there is public transportation. We do have buses that run out here. It's just if you want to, around Katy, they'll take you around Katy. Anytime you're commuting from Katy to maybe Houston, Texas, it's going to take a while on public transportation, but it is possible. Right now in Katy, Texas, of course, we're implementing what's called a metro rail, and that's like a subway, right? It's just like a subway that'll take you from Houston to Katy. But definitely, we know how it is when you're developing these type of things and how long these things take, right? And so that's the type of transportation we do have right now is really just buses, but they are implementing like a subway system, should I say? Not sub because it's on top of ground, a metro rail system.
I was gonna say it takes a long time to burrow a hole for miles and miles, so maybe a little faster than if they were doing it underground. But I also heard rumors of like a bullet train or something in Texas, maybe between like going across the state or something.
Man, I've heard of that. I've heard of that. So right now they do have, the bullet train, I've heard about that, but I don't know too much about it. But we do have with the metro rail system, they have implemented that they're testing out. It's called an express rail, where it's faster, of course, and it just gets you straight from destination to destination. Right now, the metro rail has a couple of stops in between, but this express rail will take you from one destination across the city faster. So that is something we have here.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense because when you get on those things, it is like stop.
Right.
Might as well sit down and start doing some work on my phone while you're waiting, I guess.
Right.
So what are people driving? Where are they going to work when they're going into the city or wherever they work? And what are the major employers?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So one of the major employers that we do have out here, we do have an Amazon. We're actually getting another Amazon about 10 minutes away from the other Amazon.
Just warehouses?
Yeah. So right now we do have Amazon warehouses, and of course those provide jobs to people. We're building a new one, Amazon warehouse, that should be completed by the end of next year. We do have an Igloo, the Igloo place manufacturer here that provides jobs as well. But those are the majority. It's a lot of business, it's a lot of families. Katy is very family oriented. You know what I mean? But those are some of the major suppliers that we do have out here. Part of all the reason why I do think the commuting every time you're out, you see a number of cars, because Katy is very, very family oriented. And so we all know how our kids have us running. And I think that's a part of it as well. So for sure, those are some of the manufacturers that we do have out here. And I know it's some I'm forgetting, but those are the major ones that we have that take up blocks. And we have a Buc-ee's out here, man. I don't know if you ever heard of Buc-ee's, but you should look it up. Buc-ee's is like, it's a when a lot of people travel, you know how you stop at these gas stations along your travel. Well, Buc-ee's is a gas station that looks like a grocery store. So it's really major for people when they're traveling. They always want to go to Buc-ee's. Anytime I have somebody coming in town that's traveling, they want to go to Buc-ee's gas station, because it's a gas station that is literally the size of a grocery store. So you should.
Is it also like a truck stop? Because we have pilots and like these big ones that are kind of like you're saying. Mm-hmm. It's like a whole. I mean, they even have like showers and things and amenities where people could go. Even so, is it literally like a grocery store? It's just so big, a mini mart, and they have prepared food and all that, kind of like a rest stop.
Well, we'll see. That's a good point. So it is like a rest stop, and they do have, places for truckers to go, but they have a place where when they sell food, it's not like a big grocery store. They just sell like barbecue sandwiches and things of that nature. They sell fudge and all that. They have a small bakery on the inside, but it's really just a gas station to where
But they have the touchscreen thing.
Yeah, they have touchscreen.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But they have cashiers for sure. You know what I mean? I don't want to come off as a grocery store, because it's a full out gas station, right?
Buc-ee's. I'm gonna look it up. Are there a bunch? Are these all over the place, or there's like one that people seek out to go to?
There's really they are all over the place in Texas, but they're not close. They're really off of all the major freeways. Like I-10 for sure is one of the major freeways out here. And so we're just fortunate that the Buc-ee's location is in Katy, right? You probably have to drive 100 miles to find another one. Let me say that. So it is a chain of them, but they're not just popped up everywhere.
And then what about like colleges and universities? Are there any satellite colleges out in Katy, or is that what they're called? Satellite campus, right? Why
right,
am I feel like there's another
campus.
term for it, but whatever. You get my idea. Are there colleges
Yeah.
around?
Yeah, we do have satellite campuses. They're actually building one right now. We have a college out here called Houston Community College. They've been building on it for about a year and a half, and it's supposed to complete the first quarter of 2022. We also have a University of Texas, and you hear my dog. Sorry, my dog is barking. University of San Antonio, University of Texas, San Antonio College location is here as well. We also have a University of Houston location here in Katy as well. So we definitely have colleges, and you have access to that.
And what about medical facilities? I'm sure that's expanding everywhere on the planet.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm assuming there's hospitals both in Katy and obviously probably bigger
Right.
ones in Houston. There's a pretty giant one in Houston, right?
Yeah. And we have a
Like
branch
a
of
big
that
medical
here.
center or something?
Yeah, it's Memorial, Houston Memorial. So we definitely have that here. We have Texas Children, we have a Kelsey Seabold, and we have all the major, all the major medical fields here as well. I drew a blank because my dog was barking and I didn't know what was going on.
All good. Worse has happened, like I told you. So
Right.
what are you guys doing in Katy? Do you have to go to Houston to do everything, or does Katy have restaurants and a downtown and stuff to do there?
Yeah, Katy definitely. So the thing about Katy, and when I was first moving to Katy, I told one of my relatives that, hey, we're getting ready to move to Katy. First thing she said was, "You'll never want to leave." And so Katy has so much entertainment. They do have a downtown area. So our downtown will be what's called La Centera, right? And it's called La Centera. That has your shopping, it has your restaurants, it has your mom and pop shops. It really has your clothing stores, a place where a lot of people gather on the weekend because there's something to do, to spend your weekend. As far as entertainment, when I say it's family oriented, so with families comes entertainment. We have your major movie theaters. We have your major what kind of places are those? Well, it
You got
has
like Sky Zone and like
yeah, we
stuff
have
like
Sky
that.
Zone. The places it's called Main Event. And what Main Event is, it offers bowling, it has arcades, it has a sports bar, has laser tag, has virtual reality. And so we have not just that place, but we also have something similar to that's called Andretti's. Andretti's is a race car place where for kids and adults, it has the same thing: bars, bowling, arcades, virtual reality. They live by their virtual reality. Now, this is the number one virtual reality place in Texas that makes you actually feel like you're jumping off a building if you choose to. You actually connect these little things to your ankles and you can actually run while you in the virtual reality. And it's pretty cool. And we definitely have a place called Altitude. That's a trampoline park. We have a water park that's called Typhoon, Texas. And that's major because the water parks that were in Houston, they're no longer there. So we're really the only place that has water parks, that has the water park. So there's a lot of commuting in the summertime to Typhoon, Texas as well. But I mean, we have a little bit of everything. We have a super center golf store if you want to go golfing.
Is golf a big thing there?
Oh yeah, golf is a big thing for sure here. We actually have two golf super centers. I mean, the thing I love about Katy is, they say everything is bigger in Texas. So anytime we have a store here, it's going to take up half the block. You know, from Dick's Sporting Goods to Academy, to PetSmart, whatever it is going to be a super center and attract a lot of people. So it's awesome.
And then what about like
for sure? We have
Bass Pro Shop, yeah.
Yeah, we have a huge Bass Pro here.
I think we were late to the game on the Bass Pro, but we do have one here now. And yeah, those stores are cool. They got all the stuffed animals everywhere.
Yeah, we have a mall too. I forgot to. How could I forget to mention the mall?
Isn't it one of the biggest malls in the country or something?
Yeah, we have Katy Mills. We have Katy Mills Mall here. It's a huge mall. it's huge, man. Like I said, you know, everything is big here, and that's what I love about it.
And then what about like I don't know, pop-up festivals, I'll call them, like First Fridays or like July 4th or arts festivals, fireworks on July 4th, that kind of thing.
Right, of course. So anytime that there's a holiday, we do have festivals. And a lot of the festivals here in Katy, we have through the regular months where there aren't any holidays, there's always something popping up. We do have a Katy Press here to where you can kind of keep up with whatever comes to town or whatever festival is happening. We have a beer festival. We have, you know, of course, it's Christmas time. We have a fall festival, and we have things of that nature. What'd you say? Oh, we also have a rice festival.
Oh, so, rice festival. What's that?
My wife loves the rice festival. I have to ask her more about that. I've never attended personally, but apparently it's a thing, right?
Huh.
It's a thing.
I have had at least two guests say that their favorite food was rice.
Oh, really?
I mean, it is a staple. You could put anything on it. It's pretty good.
You're right, for sure.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Rice festival. Well, I'm gonna have to look that up because I want to know what they do at the rice festival.
Right. Oh, I'll find out for you here in about.
Nice.
And we do have we also have a brewery here that's pretty cool.
That was going to be a question. Breweries, distilleries, and like little. I would call this all the crunchy stuff that's going around right now. All the kind of trendy. You got your breweries, your distilleries, and then all the little like crunchy restaurants, farm to table stuff. You have all that stuff going on.
Oh yeah, for sure. We have Spindletap Brewery here. We definitely have a bunch of like the crunchy restaurants. You know what I mean? We have the, of course, the man. What is that called? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Ah, my goodness. Well, whatever. We have, we have a bunch of sports bars. We're always up on the next thing. You know what I mean? And we have even from not even just restaurants, like even for the kids, we have a place where kids can go in and make their own ice cream. We have a creamery here where they'll make the ice cream in front of you. The kids can, partake in that. We have the sushi grills. We have the rotating sushi. We have the what's the Japanese? Oh, what is that called? Like Benihanas, right?
Hibachi.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we definitely have.
I love me some hibachi.
Oh man. Hey, you love this one here in Katy, man. And man, look, the hibachi here is so good. We have something here called H Mart as well that I forgot to mention as far as for the entertaining. It's called a H Mart, right? And it's like a bunch of the Asian community's staples and restaurants and things, even grocery stores. And so that attracts a lot of people as well.
Does the H Mart sponsor the Rice Festival?
That's a good question.
They should. If they don't, they should be the #1 sponsor of the Rice Festival.
They should, man. I've tried more stuff that I still don't know what it is, just from going to H Mart alone,
That's great. I love culture and trying new things. My favorite restaurant right now is I I guess it's Nepalese or something. It's kind of it's similar to Indian. It's kind of like curry flavors, stuff on rice like that. But
Right.
it's the bomb. I think it's Nepalese. I think that's what it is. But I'm all up on that right now. What about vacations? So you're hot down there. You're close to water. Are there beaches? I guess the question is, what's the go-to driving vacation? If you want to drive somewhere, not fly to a vacation, what are you doing?
Right. So the go-to destination for us, of course, would be Galveston Beach. We do have Galveston Beach here. We have Surfside Beach. We have League City, which kind of ties into all of that. League City is before you get to Galveston, the Surfside, but that's where all your boating takes place. We have, of course, the beaches have festivals, but all that good stuff. We have party boats and all of that, but that's the easiest place. And that's about 45 minutes. Katy, if you wanted to go, which is a saltwater beach, that'll be Galveston Beach or Surfside Beach here. And they do have carnivals and things of that nature there as well. League City is more a lot of boat-owned properties, kind of like Sarasota. But for sure. So that's what League City is. But if you want to go to the beach, Galveston and Surfside Beach is definitely the driving destinations, which is about 45 minutes from Katy.
And are there ports around there? Are there any cruises? Can you take a cruise out of?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there are ports here for sure. The Mary is what we call it. That's a little cruise that you can take. It'll take you to a middle island, and then it'll bring you back. We also have, of course, like the party boats, and said like a lot of people do that as well. But I said the ferry.
I thought that was the name of it, like the Queen Mary or whatever.
Hey, Derek, I appreciate the way you roll with me, man. Let me say that. Yeah, the ferry. So the ferry will take you to a middle island. You can party and do all of that. And sometimes there's a personal boat where you can kind of just drive your car on it and sit there and enjoy yourself, have a good time. And but we do have that as well.
And then flying, obviously, you're flying out of Houston to fly anywhere, right? It's one of the biggest airports on the planet,
right?
Probably, right? We all fly through there, so no problem getting anywhere, right? How long a drive from Katy to get to the airport?
So there's two airports here. One is called Hobby Airport, and the other is called Intercontinental Airport, and they're both really about
Intercontinental. That sounds impressive right there.
Yeah, it's one.
They should have a wrestler, the Ultimate Warrior, as their
right. right. It's a huge airport. Intercontinental is huge, but they're both about an hour away from Katy. One's more north from Katy. Intercontinental is more north from Katy, and Hobby Airport is more south from Katy. So you're right in the middle. You can either go to Hobby or you can go to Intercontinental.
That's awesome. It does sound like it's a ultra convenient place to live. All these converging highways and airports close by. You got a big city, a huge city very close by. So you have all the amenities that come along with that. And there are sports teams around there also. What about a stadium? Where would you go if some big stadium act was coming? Where was the closest to go see? I keep saying Justin Bieber. I keep wanting to change it, but Justin Bieber keeps coming out of my mouth. So who's big right? Drake. Let's do Drake. How about Drake?
I'm gonna roll with the Beebster.
Where can you see Jay? JB.
So there's two places that one is a financial center, and that's in what's called the Sugar Land. It's a little town in Sugar Land, but they have a huge stadium where a lot of the people come and perform. But majority of the time, when they come and perform, it'll be at NRG, and that's where the Houston Texans play, or it'll be at the Toyota Center, and that's where the Houston Rockets play. So it all just depends, and that's in Houston. And that, like I said, that'll be a 20 to 30-minute commute if you want to go see someone at NRG Stadium, or if you want to go see somebody perform at Toyota Center, and also if you want to go see those teams play, the Texans or the Rockets, it's definitely not. It's convenient because you're right off the major highway, and it'll take you straight there. Your next exit will be getting off at the stadium.
That's awesome. And then
Yeah.
what about food? We got to talk about that Texas barbecue, right? So
Yes.
tell us whatever you want to tell us about it.
Yeah,
Or if you
yeah.
got a favorite place too, feel free to shout out your favorite place or whatever.
Right, for sure, for sure. So we definitely have, when it comes to food, we definitely have a place here in barbecue. We have a Papa's barbecue. We also have a Burns barbecue. And there's always a lot of mom and pop shops, barbecue places that have been a staple in the community for, let's say, 40 to 50 plus years. But those are the two when it comes to barbecue that I mean, yes.
Do you have those? So we have them here. We have a couple, but I always imagine that places that are big on barbecue, like Carolina or Texas or I don't know, other places would have, like in the parking lot. It's only Saturdays from like 10 to noon. You can get the
Right.
best beef brisket over in the car in the parking lot of the bank on Saturdays. Do you have that kind of thing? A lot of those.
Every year. Oh yeah, for sure. That's like an every weekend thing, though. Derek, here, barbecue is a thing. So every weekend, we always have like the little festivals in the parking lot, like the markets where people are out there selling barbecue. They're out there selling clothes, whatever the cases may be, like a farmer's market, And so we do those every weekend. Here we have the rodeo that comes to Houston every year. So we have cook-off days, at the Houston Rodeo, where it's just nothing but some good old country music and some barbecue. How can you go wrong, right?
It sounds
So,
great.
yeah, man. So we have that. But at the rodeo, there's always a bunch of celebrities that come to the rodeo every year. I think the year before last we had like Jason Aldean, Bruno Mars, the Beebster has been here, your boy.
Hold on. So I know a little bit, well, not a lot about this, but it's also they have farm shows and cattle shows, and like
Yeah.
they auction stuff off. And we here in
Right.
Harrisburg have, I think it's the largest farm show of the same type in the country. I want to say ours is bigger, but let's say equalish. So,
Right.
but no stars ever come to our
No,
farm show, not to Harrisburg. So yeah.
Every year, man, it's a thing. Every year we block out from March, a part in March to April. Every year is about 4 weeks of nothing but performers, barbecue, cattle, and all that good stuff. So that's every year, except for last
So
year.
they perform. They actually book people to perform at these farm shows or whatever you want to call these
Yeah.
things.
Every year, every year.
That's what we need to do. So we have to purposely try to get the people to come.
Yeah, it's every year. It's about 15. About 15. I think this year is maybe Luke Combs, Jason Aldean, Bruno. But every year is about 15 hard hitters that
And not necessarily country either, because
no,
Mars
it's
isn't
all
country.
genres of music. They pick people from all genres of music and bring them here to perform on a particular night. So it'll definitely be packed, but it's a blast, man. We have a great time. And there's also
awesome.
sponsors as well. So you'll have sponsors here like FedEx. They'll always have a tent during the cook-off. Bud Light always have a tent during the cook-off. So it's like a big celebration, to where people are in competition for barbecue, chili, and just partying and really having a good time.
Have you ever entered a contest? Is that something? I'm assuming that one is like a big cook-off thing, but do you have like little local chili cook-offs or like rib fests or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, man, we have those as well. That's something, when you pick up the Katy Press and everything is technology, right? You can pick up the Katy Press or you can go on your phone. We definitely have local, as well as when the rodeo is going on. Here locally, we have local cook-offs. I've never entered one. I think I just taste tested, which is my lane. I'm just
Less pressure.
Right. Right. But locally, man, because Katy is so, man, it's crazy to think that a city can feel so family oriented to where your neighbor feels like family. Or when you go to the grocery store, they feel like family. Like Katy is a big area, but because it's so family oriented, then everybody just seems like, and it's so diverse. It's so well diverse, but everybody is so active. It all feels like family when you go out to something as simple as the grocery store.
Yeah. And they need to have a an Alfredo cook-off or something, a pasta cook-off. So
Right,
Christina can
right,
get that Alfredo out in there.
right, for sure.
So now we would talk about if anybody is moving there. Obviously, they need to know what they're going to get for their money. So here, if they're moving from Central Pennsylvania, I'd say 300-ish is going to get you kind of an entry level 1 to 2 story house, 3 to 4 bedroom, maybe probably a 2-car garage at 300 on like 0.2 acres in a subdevelopment, probably built in the 80s or 90s. So 300-ish is kind of the entry level to the American dream home, I would say here. What are we looking at there?
Man, believe it or not, it's about 250 to 300, and that's I don't know what the square footage is in Pennsylvania, but that's real. That's cookie cutter. That's 3 to 4 bedrooms, about anywhere from 25 to 2,900 square feet. On the normally typically is about a 6,000 square foot lot, but it's going to be 2015 built and things of that nature. Of course, we have resale homes that you can get, but we're in Texas. There's always such a difference because I just believe here in Katy, Texas, you get more bang for your buck. And that's the beauty of it. So I think the entry level here is about 250 to 300,000, and that'll get you your typical 3 to 4 bedroom, 2.5, 3.5 baths, about anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 square feet.
And what kind of, you touched on the age of the homes a little bit. Is Katy a little bit newer? Do you have any other like 1900, 1920, any of that kind of stuff, or is it all newer?
Right. Katy is a little bit newer. We do have some developments of home that was built, around 2000. You really won't see many lower than that because like Katy is still developing as we speak, right? But there were people that were a staple in the community and have been here since 2000. But you won't see anything from the 1900s. You just
So
won't.
there's not a big historic district or anything.
Yeah,
Although
we
it
do.
did talk about historic stuff, but
Yeah,
not
we
houses,
do have,
I guess.
right. We do have an old Katy. We do have an old Katy, that place that's called Old Katy, that has the train, like the park you were talking about earlier in the bio. And those homes were built in about 1980, but that's a district now. And now that Katy is, expanding, when people come to Katy, they're in, should I say, newer Katy, because Old Katy is still a staple in the community. A lot of people, if they're moving to Old Katy, because in those times you were able to get, let's say, a lot that was an acre, right? And so it's kind of just like with the redevelopment. So for those who purchased those properties that were built back then in the 1980s or 1990s, well, they're buying those lots and they're putting these $1 million homes on them. So Old Katy is now beginning to go into the redevelopment stage because of the lot sizes, and
Makes
versus where
sense.
you know what I mean? So that's the beauty of it for sure.
And then what if somebody wants like 5, 10 acres? They want a bit of land with their house. Do you have to travel far outside of Katy? Is that available close to Katy?
Oh, it's definitely available close to Katy. We have somewhere that's called Brookshire in Sealy, which is about 10 to 15 minutes outside of Katy. I was actually speaking to a representative for the mayor of Sealy and told me that their 10-year plan has now turned into a 5-year plan because there were so many people migrating from Katy and getting those bigger lots. And so that's one of the things, and it's right on the outskirts of Katy. It still feels like Katy, and Katy is just pouring into those places. And so it won't be long, man. It's not. So those are where you'll go to get those lots, and you can still, kind of find these. They're rare, but you can still kind of find these lots with huge acres, like 5 acres or 10 acres, but they come a dime a dozen. They're really rare right now because Katy is developing so much.
And people want to buy them up and put a bunch of houses, a
Yeah,
developer put a
you know
bunch
what
of
I mean?
houses, not just keep it for myself to
Right,
run
right,
four-wheelers on. Yeah.
right.
So what about like if somebody's in the, let's say, the luxury market? First, I guess you could define what a luxury market, what it starts at there,
Mhm.
and then if somebody does want to spend million, 2 million plus, is that available, or do they need to go into Houston to get big mansions, or what's the luxury market like?
Oh no, no, for sure. And I would consider the when you say luxury, because and this is the beautiful thing about it, because Katy is so modern, should I say, and still developing, you can get a $600,000 house with all the bells and whistles, and it just depends on really your taste. I mean, a $600,000 house can have the brass finishes, can be 3,000 or 3,500 square feet. But you get all of that in Katy. You can have that new construction here. We currently have some new construction here at about 600. Have the $1 million price point here. Katy gives you everything that you're looking for because we are still developing. And like I said, even in old Katy, you can still find luxury homes in old Katy that are for sale because people have bought the old houses and build mansions on them. So you do have access to all of that here. And if anybody ever wants, the particular neighborhoods or subdivisions, Falcon Point is one that comes to the top of mind as I think of that. We have waterfront estates. That's another one that comes to mind. But you definitely, whatever your preference is here, whether that's luxury, whether that's mansions, Katy has all that to offer.
And then what about, we've touched on that most stuff is of the newer nature, and the
Mhm.
newer stuff is the more HOAs enter the picture, I find. So are there a lot of, does every neighborhood have an HOA, and what are the HOAs like? Is it gated with golf courses, or is it something more minimal like we have here? We don't have much amenities usually. If we have an HOA, if it's a townhouse development, they're mowing the lawn, doing the roof probably, the snow, keeping up
Mhm.
the monument sign and mowing the
Right.
grass, but
Right.
there's no typically restaurants or clubhouses or pools or
Mhm.
any of that kind of stuff. So
Right.
all that to say, what's the HOA situation there?
Right, right, for sure. So normally every community here does have an HOA. Every community here does have a clubhouse, does have a pool, does have parks to allow the kids to run and play. Uh, let's just say 7 out of 10 neighborhoods will have a lakefront entrance. And these are just some of the things that are going on here in Katy. But because it is so family oriented, like I said, what the HOA has done is anytime that there's a clubhouse, there's always multiple. There's always multiple clubhouses and pools and playgrounds inside of each neighborhood. And what they do is they just take care of the maintenance. They spruce it up for the holidays. And they take care of the maintenance around the parks and all of that. We're, as a homeowner, we're entitled to, of course, take care of our yard as far as with the deed restrictions and things of that nature. But one of the beautiful things the HOA has done is just made everything accessible to people. You know what I mean? And, so it won't be overcrowded. So they put multiple in each neighborhood that, we have here in Katy. So it's rare to have go into a neighborhood that only has one pool area, one clubhouse, or one playground.
Wow. And then do you pay fees monthly or yearly, or what are the fees like?
Right. So here in Katy, normally it's annually. Our HOAs are due at the end of every year. And that's something that's annual. We don't do monthly HOAs here. Everything is due annually at the end of the year.
And you don't have snow, so it's not some question mark like here. They have it set. You pay every month, and then at the end of the year, oh, we had bad snow this year. Guess what? Everybody gets a bill for that extra
Oh, wow.
snow removal that we didn't budget for, or
Oh,
that kind of
wow.
stuff. So, and the roads get all messed up from the salt and the freezing and thawing, and so you don't have
Yeah.
those assessments either. Probably, I'm guessing.
Man, no, we don't. It snowed here, man, and we didn't know what to do.
We just all stayed in the house. We were done.
we didn't know what to do, Derek. It was like, man, it's
Well, it was
crazy.
probably 70 degrees the next day, and it melted all of it anyway. So.
Yeah, but look, it snowed. Let's say it snowed 2 inches, and because snow is so rare here, you got 2 inches of snow. People out there trying to build snowmen, and that is crazy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
and
man.
There's some northerner like living next door to them. There's like looking at them like they're crazy people
walking out in shorts and everything else. Right, it's crazy.
That's funny. All right, well, let's end it off. But before we do, let's answer a question that has nothing to do with real estate or Katy or Texas or anything, but does have to do with you. If you could do anything else, have any other profession, what would it be?
Oh man,
you can't say I love this and I would just keep doing this. I don't like that answer.
Right. No, I'd be a singer for sure. I've been blessed with the. Let me stop. I'm playing, Derek. Derek, I'm playing.
I was gonna say you never sing on the happy birthday in the mornings in the clubhouse rooms.
Right. No, for sure. I mean, if I could do another profession, I mean, it'll have to be professional sports. I think my love for football definitely nationally, but I would want to be around the game somehow or some way. I don't know if that's in the coaching aspect, or I don't know what that will hold. But if I wasn't doing real estate, I definitely want to be around the game of football just for my love from that. I don't know if you can tell, but I do have a love for football.
Hey, did you say you played baseball though?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I did play baseball. Man, I love baseball. Baseball and football, those are my things, right? And here in Katy, I'm glad we said football, because here in Katy, I'm going to tell you how serious we take football in the state of Texas. Our high school stadium here in Katy cost $75 million to build. And that's a state-of-the-art stadium that football is like a religion here, right? But I love football. I love baseball. Those are the two things that I love, man. I think I was just gifted in baseball in a way that I really couldn't appreciate my gift back then. But looking back on it now, I really think that was my gift that God blessed me with to play. But excuse me, growing up, football has become my love. But I love baseball too, man.
So you have 4 kids. Is one any boys?
Yeah, one.
Does he play football? How old is he?
He's 14. He turned 14 in September, and yes, he does play baseball. I think nowadays, though, like he's into this basketball thing, right? And I don't know.
Hey, you're not going to get any brain injuries playing basketball. Knock
right,
on wood.
Man. Right. That's true. So it's like, what do? Like, my kid loves basketball, but when he plays football, I mean, every year he's on the all-star team and, things of that nature, but he plays basketball. That's a different animal, but he loves that. But he's definitely involved in sports for sure. Yeah. But he likes basketball.
Well, sometimes they make you pick when you get to high school. In our high schools, you could play every sport and nobody will stop you from playing every sport. But I know in some of the bigger schools around the country, if you play football, it's very discouraged to play another sport.
Right. That's what happened. I remember till this day. I played baseball and football. And in high school, in baseball, we were 7th in the nation, right? And I was coming from baseball practice, going to football practice, and my coach stopped me and said, "Make a decision right now." He said, "Make a decision. We can't do this. We have people calling for you in football. We got coaches calling. We need you to make a decision." And because my brother was on the football team as well, I picked football, and I had to tell the baseball coach I was no longer going to play baseball. But that's the only reason I went to Lamar, was because every year Lamar High School is top in the nation of baseball. And they would always come to my middle school games, to my travel games, and tell me that I'm going to Lamar. And that's the only reason I went to Lamar, was for baseball. And eventually it turned into football, so.
And then you turned on him and went with football. But that's all right.
Right, for sure.
So read all your information, your contact information. Obviously, you guys can reach out to Don about anything you need in Katy or Houston area. Say your information aloud so that anybody that might be listening rather than watching can write it down quick.
Oh, my information. My telephone number is 346-201-8945. My email will be donald.craft86@gmail.com. You can follow me on social media. My social media handle is dream_home_realtor. And any questions you guys ever have about Katy, Texas, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you. And as I say in all my videos, welcome home.
There you go. I love that tagline. And all his information will be in the description above or below or wherever you're watching or listening. It'll be there along with links to all his social media and hopefully doncraft.com soon. So we talked about that. He's going to go buy a URL so we could tell everybody doncraft.com or Donald Craft if Don Craft isn't available anymore. But feel free to reach out to Don or feel free to contact me if you need to buy or sell a home in central Pennsylvania or anywhere else on the planet. I can hook you up with the right person like Don and Katy. Call me, text me, email me, throw a rock through my window, send a carrier pigeon. I want to hear from you still. We still need inventory. We didn't touch on that real quick in like 20 seconds. What's the inventory situation there in December 2021? Still need inventory?
Oh, we still need inventory. Yes, we need it.
Although you're building a lot new, so there's probably maybe not as bad a problem as here, maybe?
It's probably not as bad. But you said 20 seconds.
Yeah.
But we can always use more inventory. But we do have some new construction homes available. So contact me today and I can walk you through that.
Awesome. And thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. Thank you, Don, again, for being here. And say goodbye to everybody, Don.
Thank you, Derek. I appreciate it. And everybody else, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Peace out, everybody. Hey, Don, I used to do this piece, but then I learned that's the same as the middle finger in like England or something. So you have to do peace the front way.
Oh,
like
wow. Okay. Here we go. Wait, peace.
Peace out, everybody.
Appreciate it.